Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Daniel Garrett, owner of Merchant Services United, and I'll jump right into it here. So at the top left there, two truths and a lie. So I'll give the answer at the end, but left-handed, I can juggle, and I visited four continents. And the photos on the bottom left, that's my family and I. We were at a wedding excuse me. And then the photo on the right was taken at the Preakness horse race in Baltimore a few months back. So the biggest question I get is why work with a merchant service professional like me and not PayPal, Stripe, Square, QuickBooks, that sort of thing. So there's a few reasons, but generally speaking, personalized support with these companies, they're considered what we call PayFacs. So their support is generally online or through a help center. In contrast, a dedicated merchant service professional like me can provide one-on-one support, helping businesses navigate technical payment-related issues. And this includes setting up the equipment, training staff, offering ongoing local support, things like that. Better pricing. So PayFacs offer what we call flat rate pricing, which is not the most cost-effective option for small to medium-sized businesses or those with higher transaction volumes. So in contrast, I can negotiate custom rates that may result in significant savings. So for example, the debit card payment fee with these PayFacs is about 3%, 2.9%, whereas the debit card with me is about half that, 1.49%. I also have programs available that can pass on fees to customers, whereas PayFacs may offer this, but typically it's not compliant and can result in fines from Visa and MasterCard. Visa and MasterCard have specific rules when you want to pass on fees. So we'll get into that a little bit later. Industry specific expertise as well. So I have deep knowledge of various industries, can provide tailored advice based on unique challenges of a specific business sector. So whether it's restaurants, retail, service-based business, you name it, we have expertise and knowledge to help with the best solution for that. And all right, so as you can see here, what I do is I work with clients based on the business type, based on what they're looking for. We have a multitude of payment devices that can help a business. This is just a few, just a small sample size, but starting from the left, you'll see that Swipe Simple device. That's great for mobile payments. So think of a landscaper, maybe a home service company that's coming to someone's home to do work. You don't need a big clunky machine, something like that. Swipe Simple on the left would be a great solution. And then those devices that are to the right there, those are great for retail businesses. So think of like maybe a dry cleaner. Any business that's accepting payments from customers, that's usually a pretty good option there. And then on the right, those are what we call Clover point of sale systems. They're a little bit larger, a little bit more expensive, more robust. They have more features available so they can track inventory, can help with clocking in and clocking out of employees, that sort of thing. So those are good for restaurants and bars, that sort of thing. So another question I get is, can you integrate with QuickBooks? So the short answer is yes. So if a business is using QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, Xero, any of those accounting solutions to collect payments, I can integrate using a software called Biller Genie. And right below there, you can see the workflow. So the step one is creating the invoice. So that business owner will create the invoice like they normally would using QuickBooks or Xero, and they'll actually save the invoice. So they won't send it. And then step two, my software, Biller Genie, will send the invoice to your customer. And then step three is a collection of the payment. So we process that payment when the customer clicks on the link and inputs their payment information. And then step four is that reconciliation. Okay, so that invoice will be marked as paid in the QuickBooks or Xero system. So there's no double work, anything like that. So it's all reconciled automatically. And this is what we call a two-way integration. Okay. And some of the benefits in working with me versus using QuickBooks for payments, you can set up automatic payments, you can store multiple payment methods, create custom invoices, as well as on the bottom there, offsetting payment acceptance cost. And I'll get into that here next. So consumer choice, what is that? This is basically a model or a program that really started with gas stations back almost 40 years ago. So if you go to a gas station, I've, said this 100 times, but you'll typically see a cash price and a card price. So the price is a little bit different. It's usually cheaper to pay with cash. And so what these gas stations have done for decades now is they add essentially the processing fee to the card price. Okay, so that's why the price to pay with a card is a little bit higher. Okay, this is something that is is an opportunity for businesses to potentially save money. If they do offer this type of program, it can save them 80 to 90% off of their credit card processing fees. So it's a huge game changer, especially with the cost of goods and services rising quite a bit, and the credit card fees rising quite a bit. It's important for businesses to be creative and also look at options to cut down on that expense. And so this is an example. So for example, for a $10 transaction, you'll see at the bottom there where it says cash $10 and then card $10.40. This is a really basic example of what the customer would see. So they'll see both options and they can choose to make the payment with cash or a card. Okay. And one other thing I'll mention here, some clients, some folks that I'm talking to, they say, well, we'll just raise our prices to cover the cost of processing a payment. And my response to that is typically, why punish customers who want to pay with cash, or if it's an online business, pay with ACH? Why punish them? Instead, this is more of a direct response or a direct way to cut down on the cost of cards. So if folks want to pay with that card, then the fee will be added to those folks and only those people. Another model that we see is compliance surcharging. Okay, so this model is when you're adding a fee to credit card payments only. So if a customer wants to use a debit card, there is no fee that's added. All right, and the benefit to this, there's still great savings that are available. You can save 50 to 70%, and the cap on what you can charge is 3% for surcharges. Okay, so that's set by Visa, MasterCard. There are also in certain states, there are state guidelines as well you have to follow, providing, proper signage, notifying customers, that sort of thing. But overall, it's all about transparency. That's the most important thing. So as a business owner, you don't want to surprise your clients when you're adding a fee. So if you're upfront with them and transparent and explain what that fee is and what it's covering, 9 times out of 10, even more, actually 98.6% of the time, studies have been done, and that's why I have that exact number. 98.6% of clients are accepting of this model if you explain it to the customers transparently.
Yeah, about a minute and a half.
Okay. Got it. Thanks. So who can use my services? Basically, any business that's still swiping credit cards. So what I mean by swipe is the magnetic strip on the back of the card. If a business is still physically swiping, that's a big red flag. So that is a non-compliant transaction, and that business can lose those funds from that sale if the transaction is disputed by that card holder. Okay, so that is a non-compliant transaction. You need to use the chip or tap. Those are compliant ways to accept payments. If a business owner can't reach the credit card processing company that installed their equipment, a lot of times these folks are kind of fly by night, set it up and that's about it. You'll never hear from them. Folks that have lost that relationship, I love building relationships with business owners, so that would be a great opportunity. Businesses that haven't had a recent review of their credit card fees. So just as random stat, in the past 5 years, credit card processing rates have gone up about 47% on average. So important to keep up and understand what you're paying so you can make a better informed decision. Businesses expanding to a new location, hiring staff, acquiring another business, great opportunities. And also, do you know any businesses that could use my services? You can receive a referral bonus just for making an introduction. If you know multiple businesses that can use my services, then there's opportunities to get referral fees, residuals every single month. Okay, so always looking for speaking opportunities as well. Love to educate business owners about working with a merchant service professional. And that's it for me. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. There's my QR code. And the lie was I can't juggle. All right. And I'm happy to stay after the meeting.
Thank you very much. That was my next question.